Hi everyone. Till now we have seen how to use Terraform configuration file, what is the TF state, how to create the different resources using Terraform. So today's topic is around Terraform output. So let's say you create many resources using Terraform. So after resource creation, you want some output like what all resource got created and what all resource you have created. For that resources you need some output, like let's say you create a virtual machine. So once the virtual machine is created, you need the public IP address of that virtual machine, or maybe you need the different configurations. So let's say you need what all are the NSGs related to that virtual machine or any other details. So whenever you create any resources and once that resource is created, after that you need output of that resource. I mean, you need some of the details of that resource. Then that is defined under this Terraform output block. So what is this Terraform output? So basically it will help you to provide the details of resource created by the Terraform. So basically it helps us to output the attribute of the resources with the output value. So there are two things. One is output value and another one is attribute. So what is this output value and what is this attribute? So let's say we are going to create a resource group. So this is our resource group here. So we are going to create this resource group. So once this resource group is created, all the details of this resource group will be saved under this Terraform TF state file. So related to all the configuration details related to this resource group will be saved in this Terraform TF state file. And if we want to query some of the details from this resource group, so let's say once this resource group is created, I wanted to know the resource group ID. So how to get that? So in this, we'll go and we'll search for Azure resource group Terraform. So once you go to terraform.io page, on the terraform.io, you have this option of resource group, and here you have one thing, that is attribute reference. So basically this attribute reference let you know what all things you output. So here you can see the ID is available, means once the resource group is created, you can attribute this ID. I mean, you can get this ID. So whatever is present under this attribute reference, you can get all those details. So I'll go here and I'll add one block, that is output, and I'll give the name of the output. So maybe I'll give the name as RG name. So this will be my output and value. So what is the value of this? So I'll give it as, again, same thing, Azure RM underscore resource underscore group dot RG. Till here it will be same. And then after, what you want to output from this? So we want to output the ID, resource group ID. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. Dot RG dot ID. So basically what it will do, once this resource group is created, it will give us the resource group ID. Likewise, I want to output something from storage account as well. So I'll give as storage account. Maybe I'll use ID or maybe any other details. So basically what we can do, we can output anything from this storage account. So if storage account is created, so we can get any details. So here we are going to get the ID only, storage account ID. So I'll again give the value equal to Azure RM underscore storage underscore account dot the local name, that is storage dot ID. So basically what it will do, it will get the storage account ID and it will show you the ID. Here it will get the resource group ID and it will show you the resource group ID. So this is how you output any parameter. So first thing first, we'll do the Terraform init, and then after we'll run the Terraform apply command. So what it will do basically, once you run the Terraform apply, first it will create the resources, and once the creation is completed, it will give this output values. So first values will be RG name, and in the RG name, what will be the value? The value will come as the resource group ID, and second will be the storage account ID. So it will give us the storage account ID. So we'll wait for a moment. Let this resource gets created, and then after we'll see how it is displaying the output. So what is the use of this output? So let's say you are working on any organization, and there once the resources are created, you will have to provide some values. So let's say you create five virtual machine. So once the virtual machines are gets created, you have to provide the private IP address of all the virtual machines. So how you will output that? Again, same output, and then you'll get the value. So this is how we output anything. So I'll show you more on this output. So let this virtual machine gets created, and then I'll show you more on this. So same thing I have written here. I'll provide all the codes in the video description. So you can go there and you can take the description. You can take this code from the description. So can you see this? We got the resource group name, RG name I had given, but here we got the resource group ID. We can change it as RG ID. Okay, so resource group ID is this. Next time if you'll run apply, it will give it as RGID, and this is our resource group ID and the storage account ID. Now let's say if I want any other details, like I want output as, so in the PPT we have used the blob endpoint. Like if the storage account is created, then what is the blob endpoint? Means what all are the endpoints created for the blob? So you know the blob endpoint is a URL. So we want that a URL once the storage account is created. So one way is like, once the resources are created, you'll go to the resource and you'll get the value. So that is the one way. Another way is like once the creation is completed, then you can get it under this output value. So value, copy this. Now from where I got this, from where I got, like I can output this value. How I come to know, like we can output this value. So I'll tell you how we can have how I come to know about that. So for that you go to the portal and you go for storage. So we have to go to the storage, and under the storage, we have storage blob. To go to this storage blob. So here you get the code how to create this storage account, how to create the containers, and then you have this attribute reference. This is the attribute reference. So using this website, you can attribute anything, but here you have not seen this blob. Primary blob endpoint, right? So this is our primary blob endpoint for this storage account. See, if you want to get these details, only there are two ways. One, you go to the storage account and get these details, but while creation itself you want all these details. Like once the resource is created, you need these details. So this is how you can get these details. But the question is how I come to know about these details. How I come to know there, I can output this value also, because I don't know, right? How in even in the uh, website also it is not given. So I'll tell you how I come to know about this. So basically, see what we are going in the storage ID, what we are going to output. We are going to output the value of storage account. This is the resource dot local name dot ID. But if I delete this ID and I just output this one alone, let me delete this section as well. I'm not going to output anything about resource group as of now. I'm just going to output about the storage. And after that, there is no value I'm going to output directly. I'm going to output the entire storage. So once you'll uh, give Terraform apply, so basically it will give you all the outputs related to the storage. And then after, if you want any particular output, then you can give the dot and then that output name. So here it will give you the entire output, whatever related to the storage you can output. It will give all those details. So here you see, once it is done, you will see those. So basically, if you want output for anything, then you don't know what all we can output, then what you need to do, the resource name, that is Azure RM underscore storage underscore account, then dot local name, give the local name and don't put the last thing. I mean, don't put this last filter like what you want to output. You just output for the entire resource, and once that is done, then you'll get the entire thing. 924. I think it is fine. Make it as storage. Let's make it as storage. And we'll see how it is giving us the outputs. Just hold on for a moment. Okay, it is showing us to make sensitive as true. So let me give this as true. So basically this sensitive true means it has some sensitive data. So it is asking us to just put the value as true, because that sensitive data will be encrypted. So maybe because of that we are getting this error. But you don't have to give this sensitive equal to true, because I have tested it many a times. It works without that also, but still we'll try to give it as true and we'll see if we are getting the result. But here we are not getting anything. What is the problem? Because we made, okay, no problem. Let's do one thing. Let's understand on the basis of this RG first. Okay, value would be underscore resource underscore group dot, what is the local name? RG. RG. Just save this, and now you do the Terraform apply. I'll save this and I'll do the Terraform apply auto approve. So here you can see under the output, we can output all these things. So on that time, I just output ID. Let's say you want to output the location or maybe the tag. So anything you can output. So like here, I know now we can output all these things. So I'll put dot, I'll give it as name. So what it will display? Basically, it will display the resource group name. It will display the resource group name. So now if you'll do the Terraform apply, so it will display the resource group name once the resource group is created. So same like that for storage also, if you'll put this the local name and the storage name, and then you put the dot, I mean then you don't put anything, then it will give all the outputs related to the storage account. And then you put the dot, and if you want to get some particular output, then you put that value, so it will give you that output. Meanwhile, let me try to do it once again because it should work basically. Now you see output RG equal to resource group name. It is given as the RAS Terraform. Okay. Now let me give the value. Dot make it safe, and then let me run the Terraform apply once again. Okay. Okay. There is a typo actually. So hope it is clear how to output anything. So either you can output from this portal, or you can go to, I mean, output from the Terraform itself rather than going to the Azure portal. So this is the best approach. Whenever you are creating any resources, you can get your output using this Terraform command line itself. From here itself, you can get the output values, whatever you want to output. I mean, whatever resources you have created for that, you can get the output. So now I have one more example on AWS. I'll show you this as well. So once this resource gets created, then I'll show you. Basically, again, it is throwing me the same error. So don't worry about it. We'll see it later on. So I'll comment out this and we'll go to AWS now. There I'll show you. Come back to the AWS, and here I'll show you how we'll output basically. So first thing, what we need to create, I'll copy this code, entire code here, and I'll put it in this. I'll put it in this section. So this is the problem. One is gone. Problem two is here. Problem two is gone. So basically what I'm doing here, let me show you first. So here I'm going to create first resource, that is AWS EIP. Okay, that is Elastic IP, same as public IP address in Azure. And I'm going to output this IP, EIP. And then I'm going to create a S3 bucket and I'm going to output the S3 bucket. I mean, I'm going to output that S3 bucket. So I've saved this configuration. So I'll do the Terraform init first because this is a Terraform. Oh, sorry, this is AWS. Now we'll do the Terraform apply directly. So basically it will create a S3 bucket and it will also create a Elastic IP address. And once it is created, it will give us the DNS of the S3 bucket and it will also give the Elastic IP address as well. Share block is required. Okay, again the same problem. First we'll do the Terraform destroy and then we'll do it. Okay, the last video you have seen. We have resources on Azure and because of the code commented, we are getting this issue. So first let me destroy the resources which we have created from the Azure, and then we'll do this lab. So first let me destroy it. So hopefully you are enjoying my videos and it is helpful for you all guys. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer all the questions as soon as possible. And please subscribe to my channel and like my videos if you like my videos. So it is destroying the resources. 130. Let me remove this as well. And now let me destroy it. So once this is destroyed, then I'll show you how you can create the elastic IP address and how you can use it for the S3 bucket. But you guys try this. I mean, you guys try to get the details of storage account, like what all attributes you can fetch it from the storage account. And then after you put the value whichever you want to output and you will get your desired output. So let this all get destroyed and then we'll see. So now it is destroyed. So now what I will do, I'll just comment out this code and I'll go to AWS. I'll save this configuration and now I'll do the Terraform init first and then I'll apply directly. So it is creating the resources. So once these resources are created, we'll get the output as S3 bucket DNS name and we'll also get the EIP addresses. Okay, okay. It is showing as authorization form. The authorization header is from origin wrong. US West 2. Okay, we can give it as US West 2 and we can try. Okay, the bucket name is not available. So I'll give some unique name here. And now we'll try to create it. So now it is creating the S3 bucket and the elastic IP address, EIP. So hopefully it should get created. And now once it is created, can you see this output? In the output section, you got everything related to the EIP, what all we can output here. And you also got S3 bucket, everything, what all we can output here, because we have not given S3 bucket, and after that we have not given any other things. So now if I put dot and what we need from the S3 bucket, I need maybe ID, or maybe if I need, let's say you want this bucket regional domain name, or maybe you need this bucket domain name itself. Okay. So here you have two sections, my S3 bucket, one section of output, another section of output is EIP. So first we'll go for this. So here, let's say we want bucket domain name, then I'll put a dot and I'll copy this bucket domain name. I'll copy till here and I'll paste it here. So now what output we'll get only this bucket domain name. And for the EIP, we need the IP address itself. So what I need for this EIP, maybe I need the public IP of this EIP. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it under this dot public IP address. So now you will get only two output. What all will be those two outputs? The first will be the public IP address of EIP and the bucket domain name. That's all we'll get it. So see, this is how you will get the output for entire thing. And from that entire output, if you want to get some particular output, then you give that output itself. So you'll get that particular output. And these things will be found in the argument reference as well in the Terraform document, sorry, attribute reference. Under this attribute reference, you can get these details like what all you can output. So most of the places you will get all these details. So here you see we created two resources. Once the creation is done, we got the IP address of this EIP and we also got the domain name for this our bucket, S3 bucket. So hope this video is informative for you and you understood how to output anything and how to create the resources using the Terraform, and after creation, how to get the output of your resources. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like my video and subscribe to my channel to get the more interesting contents. Thank you so much.